Everybody needs community. Friends who will support us and love us and encourage us and just be there for us. It's essential for everybody, but for those of us who struggle with mental illness, it's even more essential. In fact, it's a necessary part of healing. Keep watching to find out how something as simple as going to a fan convention can make a big difference in your life. Hi, I am Christine, the middle-aged fangirl. I have or have had depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And it was film and fandom that helped me survive. I talk about specific films and TV shows and how they helped me, and how the awesome community of fandom can be a really healing place. I had just returned from Geek Girl Con last week, and I was going to do a video recap anyway, but then I came upon an article by Dr. Travis Langley, who wrote a bunch of superhero and psychology books, including the one I am reading right now, Captain America versus Iron Man, Freedom, Security, and Psychology. And I am loving this book, and we'll get a review when I'm done with it. Anyway, the article said that his research has shown that people have better self-esteem and are more optimistic when at San Diego Comic-Con rather than outside of it. Now, that did not surprise me at all, because I always feel better about myself when I'm at a convention, surrounded by all of my geek friends. Then Langley said something in the article that made me go, aha! He said that there are 2 levels of fan experience that can be therapeutic. There's the interpersonal level, community, friendship, fellowship, basically fandom, and the intrapersonal level, in which individuals learn to deal with their own problems by watching how the characters in their shows deal with them. Now, the aha was because I realized that what he was talking about, those 2 things, was exactly what I had always been talking about on my channel. How film and video help me deal with mental health and mental illness, which is the intrapersonal part of it, and how fandom gives me community and support, which is the interpersonal part of it. So I was saying the same thing as a trained psychologist all along. I just love it when my ideas are validated. It makes me feel really smart. Now, by way of a little background on how I got to Geek Girl Con, I have been going to cons for about a year now, and it was through fandom that I met the filmmaker behind Squee, the Fangirl web series, Hansi Oppenheimer, which is like the best name ever. And I messaged her one day and said, hey, I used to be a video producer, so if you ever need any help on your project, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Eventually, I ended up being on a couple panels with her talking about Squee. The project itself will be linked down below. Anyway, Hansi had booked a panel at Geek Girl Con in Seattle, which was the first one I ever attended that didn't have any celebrities. No photo ops, no autographs, no chance of running into Nicholas Brendan in the hotel lobby, just fans talking about fandom. And I wondered how much fun this was really going to be. Boy, was I wrong. The number of people I met and instantly bonded with and had hour-long conversations with was more than the number of friends I've made probably in the past 5 years. Now, it is a truism that it's harder to make friends as you get older, but this was the equivalent of being dropped into a playground with a bunch of kids who had already been tested to be compatible with me. I had conversations about Buffy with 25-year-olds, and I had conversations with 70-year-olds about the history of fanzines. We attended a great panel called Looking for Leah, which is a documentary film project that I will link below about the female fandom of Star Wars. We also hosted our own panel on Squee, and then the following day we invited some people to be interviewed in our hotel room. Just imagine a hotel room full of fangirls who can talk for hours about the messages and the meaning and the details of their fandoms, and you can imagine the fun we had. And in every interview, one of the things that was repeated over and over again was the community, the instant bonding that happens in fandom. It's a unique kind of bond that you don't get almost anywhere else. And that is the point of this video. Everyone needs community. People dealing with mental illness and struggling to sustain mental health need it even more, and fandom provides that. First, we find inspiration in the stories of the people, the obstacles they're overcoming, and the fact that they fight for right and do the right thing regardless of whether it's easy or not. And then we find the support of a community that embraces the side of us that otherwise sometimes we have to hide. Fandom has changed drastically in the last couple of decades. Now we not only have social media, but there are fan websites all over the place where you can go and chat and comment with people who are interested in the same thing you are. But, and I say this even as an introvert, a really, really introverted introvert, nothing replaces physical human interaction. Now, if you're a fan of any film or TV show out there, there is a fandom for you. My experience has been with genre shows like Buffy and Supernatural and Star Wars and Star Trek and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there is a fandom for anything. Just Google it. Now, for those of us with anxiety issues like myself, it can be really, really scary thinking about going to someplace you've never been with a lot of people. But if possible, I do encourage everyone to try a con because that human interaction is important. Of the 4 or 5 cons that I've been to, I've always had a better time at the smaller ones. And I would say that Geek Girl Con was one of my favorites. The dates for 2018 have not been released yet, but I will link the website down below so you can check them out and follow them on Twitter. They have a really fun Twitter account. And if you get a chance, check out the trailers for Looking for Leah and Squee, both of which are listed down below. This week's question is all about cons. Have you been to one? And if you've never been to a con, what questions do you have about them? This is what I do all the time. I talk about film and fandom and mental health. If this video helped you even a little bit, please consider subscribing. And if you know somebody who you think might be helped by this video, please share it with them because film and fandom are good for the soul.